Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. I am doing very well. No big deal. I'm not gonna be going for my walk today because it's still raining. It was pretty steady all day yesterday. I'm not gonna say downpouring or anything, but it was pretty steady. A little bit chilly, also. I actually wound up not working or starting work yesterday because she had the day off and she invited me to basically have a girls' day. So I'm like, yeah, it's part of. Hi. I'm like, oh no, you're not going to be running across there. Oh, she loves to run across my breasts, and it's like, oh, ouch, constant. Yeah. I'm surprised they're not smaller because of it. But anyway, yeah, Angie invited me to have a girls' day, and that's part of the reason. Would you stop it? It's part of the reason why I wanted to go back driving. Excuse me. So, of course, have that flexibility and so forth. I will admit, I almost said no. I hesitated at first because I was just like, I really need to get back to work, blah, blah, blah. It's been almost a week since I last worked, and then I was just like, nope, have a girls' day. So it's like, yay. So that was nice. Actually, she uh, needed to go to this other pet store. It was a local pet store over in an area called Forest Lake. It was a nice area. I was just like, this is different. And the reason why it's so different out there is it reminded me of a little fishing village. There's a big lake that's right there. Hello, where do I live? Land of 10,000 lakes? Yeah, I know. And there was several of them that we passed by on the way as well. And yeah, that was really really cool to see them. And there was where we were at was kind of like I guess like a old downtown area, basically where the old shopping district would be or whatever. They had a bigger area or another area that has all the corporate places, like Walmart, Super Target. They have Super Targets. That they're in Vegas. They've all been converted over to just Target, even though they're big stores. Just the Super Target name never caught on, so they just went ahead and dropped it. But with here, yeah, they're still called Super Targets. But anyway, so yeah, there was that area, but where the small shops are is actually right there by where the big lake is, and there was like a drugstore, ice cream parlor, the pet store. There was also a little, what was the name of it? Vintage something. Basically like a little antique store, or kind of combination antique store. There were some crafts that somebody had done anyway, probably put them in there on consignment or whatever. And some other odds and ends and so forth. Just kind of one of those little like junk stores. But it may have been the name Vintage Junk or Vintage Relics or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, so that was fun. Kind of remind me a little bit of a place I used to like to go to out in Boulder City every once in a while. So, it's a little bit of odds and ends and so forth. Plus, there was a thrift store. She was like, "Oh, do you want to walk or drive?" And well, we get in the car and I'm like, well, is it walkable? And she was just like, oh yeah. Well, but it's just a little ways down the road, especially with the rain. I'm like, well, let's go ahead and drive, especially with the rain. And we get in the car. I wouldn't even walk that on a non-rainy day. Personally, I would probably just drive. Even though it was just like right up the road, it was like, yeah, no, that's a little bit of a hike still. And don't get me wrong, obviously, I'm not somebody who's afraid of walking, but yeah, I would not have left my car. I would have driven it, even if it wasn't raining. So that was really, that was really cool. They had something in there. I don't know if I had ever seen it before or not. It caught my eye, and I had this little inkling to look at it. I thought they were old family photo albums, and I'm talking old. And I was just like, oh, that would be so cool to look at some old family photo albums. And I opened them up, come to find out they were record albums. And instead of keeping the records in their original jackets, they took them and they took them and put them in these. They had basically these slots, these pages with slots for the records. It was like, wow. And then on top of it, completely blew my, and they were predominantly old jazz albums. They were newer. They weren't old as in the old ones with the old record players where they were basically pretty much made of metal or whatever, okay? These were ones made out of the plastic, okay? But still old. There was one that was definitely on that borderline of, yeah, I was just completely just blown away. And on top of it, I don't know if you remember, those of us who are old enough to remember, back in the day, like sometimes with like maybe larger copies of Reader's Digest, or sometimes in magazines or what have you, they would do up like cheap plastic. I think they would run on the 33 setting. They were like the size of the 45s, but they had the regular small hole, and they were real flimsy, and they were small. It would be like a one of the songs taken off of the bigger 33s, the 33 and the thirds. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But they were about the size of a 45, usually. And they were real flimsy, and they were just a sample and so forth, Then it would usually just have one of the songs off of the bigger albums. And I was just like, and that was what was weird too. These 33 and the thirds, they were smaller. That's what was weird too, is that they were smaller than what they usually were. Just a little bit. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that was really cool. But they had in there Glenn Miller, some names I haven't heard in years, like Hambone. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe they had Hambone in there. I was like, holy cow. I'm gonna have to see if even like Pandora or what have you has any of his songs. So I'm like, wow. But yeah, that just completely blew my mind. So that was a treat. That was a real treat, because I am a big fan of the big band era and everything. So that was a real treat. So, and they had 2 albums sitting there, and it was like, wow, just completely blew my mind. There was one, as far as labels were concerned, mostly this one label called Prom, basically songs, it was, the record label deal with songs that would have been played like on prom night or what have you. That was the kind of the advertisement they had on the label. And there was Capitol Records, and I don't remember who else, but yeah, that just completely blew my mind. Completely blew my mind seeing those. So that was a real treat. And then a little bit with looking a little bit more in the store, I came around the corner and I had my mind blown again. This time it was a Vegas thing, a Vegas souvenir. It was uh, one of the Paris balloon drink things. Okay, it's basically a drink cup, not a mug, but it's a drink cup. It has a lid, and with the lid, it has an opening for the straw, and you get a mixed alcoholic drink. I think they're like $25, or at least they used to be $25, or what have you. But they had one sitting there on the shelf, and I was just like, again, hi mom, why are you around, mom? It was like, oh my goodness. So, and the reason why I said that was because the Paris is where my mom and I, when we had our very first trip out to Vegas before we moved out there, um, that was where my mom and I had stayed. So yeah, and that's also where we had gotten our first jobs, and yeah, so that kind of became like our place. So yeah. I did not expect to see that. I was like, okay. They just won't leave me alone. So, but anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun yesterday. And got the last things that I needed from Walmart, like a charging cord. I forgot that I needed to get a charging cord for the car. So, and I'm very happy that I didn't work yesterday, especially with injuring my leg. Feels a lot better today. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot better. But with the rain, and then we got another line of storms in a little bit late last night, and really flared me up. Oh my goodness, it was very difficult to walk around. So I'm very happy that I took the day off and just chilled, relaxed that bone and everything. I don't think I chipped it. It just kind of felt like it. Maybe bruised it or whatever. But either that or it healed pretty fast, which I don't think so. Not a chip bone. So, but it does feel a lot better. I don't know. I know it's still there. It's still a little bit sore. But at least I'm moving around on it a lot better. And I kept the heating blanket going all night. Oh, now you're gonna hold on, folks. Hold on. Sorry about that. There she is. There's that pretty face everybody wants to see. Yeah. Say hi. She's like, I'm good. She's like, I'm getting rocked right now with my footy. Yeah, we know. She's in total ecstasy right now because she's getting her footy rocked. I don't know if I can get it down there. Yeah, see? She does this all the time, where she takes her foot and puts it in my hand so I can do this. She loves that for some reason. Don't know why. I have no idea. It's a soothing mechanism for her. So, but yeah, it was just a nice day. And next Saturday, there's a quilt show happening over in Coon Rapids. We're going to go to that. So that'll be fun. And we're all planning on, hopefully if we all remember, plan on going to Biking Fest too. So that'll be fun too. So anywho, so yeah. Excuse me, sorry about that. So anyway, the court date yesterday went up online, and unfortunately they don't, the way they've changed everything up there, they're not providing very much information, if anything at all. When I went up there, all they had in there is that there was a plea entered. What the plea was, no idea. But I can infer based off of what else was in there. There's another entry that was put in there that was giving a sentencing date. So, and this is without a trial. So, yeah, I'm going to say he changed his plea to guilty. Probably a plea deal was struck. And, yeah. So, let's see here, sentencing happens on June 24th. I mean, not June, July, excuse me, July 24th. I know, it's kind of a long, it's a long wait, but it seems how there's probably a deal struck. He already knows what it is and everything, but it has to be made official, of course. So, it's like, all right. So, I gave one person a call, let her know. She kind of witnessed things a little bit, but we all told her get in the house because we sort of figured what was going to be happening. So, and sure enough, it did. And but yeah, it was good hearing from her. It was good talking to her. She was like, "Wow, you sound so much better," and I'm like, "I feel a lot better." She's like, "Did you make it to a doctor?" And I'm like, "Nope, haven't had the need." So she's like, "Wow, that's amazing." But we got caught up a little bit. She's actually going to be moving. Her granddaughter, she's been going through a basic training, and well, training basically. Not necessarily. I think she'd gotten through basic, but she's been going through training. She's found out where she's, training with her field of study and so forth. I'm not too sure which branch of the military she's in. She's gotten her duty station, and her first duty station, and is getting shipped out right afterwards. But she's going to pack up Grandma, and basically Grandma and Grandpa, and moving them to that duty station. She's going to buy a house and have them stay there while she gets deployed. So at least she'll have peace of mind and everything, and I have to worry about them. So I was very happy to hear that, get her out of Vegas. Come to find out, when I called her, she's been getting over battling COVID. I'm like, oh boy, yep, been there, done that. So, but she's on antibiotics and so forth, and with doing that move and everything, hopefully it'll help the situation. Hey, yeah, and I kept catching myself. I completely forgot to wear my mask with the places that we had gone into yesterday, with the exception of Walmart. It was like, put your mask on. You're still autoimmune deficient. All it takes is one person, and bam, down sick. Don't need that right now, especially without having health insurance again. So, yeah. Yeah, right. So that's where we're at with everything. It's good to know that I just hope, with his situation, I hope that he's able to get some help, or at least see what is going on in his life, and he can make some decisions and so forth. Yeah. So I really do wish him well. I really do. So, but yep, that's where we're at. This morning I'm gonna do my morning meditation and do my yoga. Those are the things that are most important. Keep the muscles stretched out and so forth. And I do need to cook something this morning too. I have enough, a little bit of food left or what have you, but I do need to see about cooking up something for later. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. Little silly girl. Little silly girl. Oh, I want to see her again. Hold on. There she is. I know, she's such a sweet baby. So, anyway, I will talk at you later. Alright? Love you guys. Talk to y'all soon. I don't want to disturb her. Bye. Love you.